All right, Gavin, on May 26th, 2005, you defeated Ted Forrest, heads up, to win the Mirage Poker Showdown main event. As someone who's kind of paid their dues, tournaments, cash games, online, you've been doing all that. How'd you feel that day?
I felt good. No, it was nice. It was, fun. It was a long time coming. I'd been playing the main events for a year, and hadn't had what I considered to be the success I thought I was, I was due, or whatever. That I felt I hadn't had the results that my ability showed that I should have had, and then to finally win one was great.
Well, you take home a WPT title. You could get $1.1 million. How did coming into so much money like that affect you?
It didn't really affect me that much. Just meant that instead of, I was still backed, and I was comfortable before that, so I didn't really buy anything right away. I think it was about a year before I even bought my Harley. My Harley was the first thing I bought, and I think it was about a year later. So it didn't do all that. It just took a lot of pressure off. That was about it.
Does anything negative come along with all that money?
No, I don't think anything overly negative. More people ask to borrow and more people ask to stake in tournaments and stuff like that. But it's hard to say that having money is negative from not having money, because at least now you're comfortable enough to do what you want to do whenever you want to do it.
All right, now we're going to take it back like we do with everyone else. Before poker.
Before poker.
Yeah, you grew up in Ontario. Where was it? Guelph? How do you say it?
Guelph.
Guelph. How do you describe yourself as a kid?
I don't know. Loud.
Yeah?
I guess. I don't know. I played a lot of sports, and I goofed around all the time. Got in a lot of trouble at school. Used to get in a lot of fights and stuff. And I don't know. I was a bit of a goofball.
Ask your sister at the WPT event what kind of kid you were, and she said very, very good. And I was like, I think she's lying. That's what I was thinking. Gavin wasn't a good kid.
No, I got into mischief. I wasn't a bad kid or nothing. I just got into mischief and got myself in trouble that way. But, I don't know. I never really got in trouble with the law or anything like that.
Mischief can seem like a lot of different things. So that can mean oh my God, you talk too much in class, or that can mean you do drugs.
No, I didn't do drugs. Right. I never did drugs as a teenager at all. I didn't even drink really. I drank a little bit when I was 15, and then I didn't drink again until I was 18. So. All
right, now we're going to jump forward. You graduated with a degree in economics?
I didn't graduate from that. I got half a degree in economics.
Ah.
I graduated from college in hotel restaurant management, and then I went back to university for management economics, and I did half of it, and then I decided not to do the second half.
How were you as a college student?
That was my first time away from home, really. That was when I was 18. I went away from home, and I was 18, and I looked 16. And now I'm away from home, and the drinking age is 19, so I don't know what I'm going to do. So at the time in Ontario, they had you'd go to the liquor store, and you'd get government-issued ID that was called an age of majority card. And so I got a picture of me. I got my brother's birth certificate. My brother's 3 years older than me. And I got my sister to sign on the back of the picture that the birth certificate was me. And I mailed this into the government. And they gave me the age of majority card with my picture on it and my brother's birth date. And so, I had legal identification, even though I went about it in a very illegal fashion. And so then I went away to school, and I started drinking because I was the youngest person in my college class. Yeah. So I went away and just did. I did all right in school. My grades were always fine. I didn't do any work though. No.
Really lazy.
School always came very easy to me. So I didn't do anything extra in school. I guess I could have done extra and got really good marks, but I always got B's and stuff if I didn't do anything. So I just was content with that.
Now, unlike a lot of the other poker players now, you didn't get right into poker right away. You had to work for a couple of years, right?
I did. Yeah, I did. When I dropped out of university, my father died in 1988, and I was at university at the time. I finished that year, but then I was kind of like a lost soul a little bit. So I said, screw it, I'm going to try something else. So I went and I worked for the Cooperators Insurance at that time, and I sold life insurance and fire insurance, and I did that for about 2 years. I'm still to this date there's a sales club called the Regional Builders Club that you have to sell a certain amount of life insurance to qualify for. And to this day, I'm still the youngest person ever to qualify for regional builders for the Cooperators Insurance. Yeah. But I did that for a couple of years, and then I was really successful at it. And I think all my life I've always been a little bit scared of success because it seems like every time things are going well, I kind of quit on them. Because whether or not I just think it's a fluke or whatever, and a couple years into insurance, and I'd been doing well, and I just said, screw it, I don't feel like doing it anymore. So I packed that in, and whoa,
that's weird.
Yeah, so I packed that in, and I went back to Old Faithful. I've always sort of gravitated back towards golf courses because that's sort of the work I've always done. So I went back and worked on a golf course, and. Then after that, I drove taxi for a while. And,
how was that?
It was all right. I lived in Guelph's a university town, so you drive a lot of students to and from the bars and whatnot. That's most of what your business is. But it was okay. It was long hours though. It was a lot of work. When the car, the broker I drove for, I drove a guy's car. When his car was on midnights, I would have to work 7 days straight from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 6 in the morning. Oh. So. Excuse me. Once a month, I'd have to do that for a week, and you did a lot of hours, but it was okay money, and it was easy. I got bored of it after a while, and went back to a golf course, and then I went and dealt poker, and then they shut down the clubs. They shut down the charity casinos, and so I opened an illegal club, ran that for a little while, then got into traveling.
What's the worst day job you've ever had?
I don't know. I mean, nothing really. I mean,
it was all right.
Every time I don't like what I'm doing, I just stop it and do something else. I mean, I don't understand. I really don't understand why people bitch and moan about what they do for work.
Right.
Because if you don't like it, then go and find something else to do. It's not that hard.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, there's nothing I've ever done that was really awful.
All right, at 26, poker became part of your life. You started playing Ontario's charity casinos, like you just said. What's a charity casino?
Well, what they had is originally they had casinos where each charity would come in and they would run a casino for 3 days. So, whatever it was, if it was, say, the Heart and Stroke Foundation, they would have a casino running for 3 days. Okay. And they'd hire this company to come in, and then they'd split the proceeds. The charity would get half, and the company running it would get half. And the casinos had to move. The licenses they got were for 3 days, so the casinos would have to move every 3 days.
Wow.
And so it would be a different charity. Each charity would get to do a 3-day event.
Mm-hmm. Well, what were those early games like for you?
They were pretty good, but I was terrible. I mean, I was really bad at the start. I went in. We went over to this place to play blackjack, and I'd been playing like regular poker games at like this wild card games and stuff like that at golf courses. So we're in there, and they're starting up this Texas Hold'em game, and my buddies are like, "Why don't you go give it a shot?" So I said, "Okay, I'll try it out. What the hell?" So I went, I sat down. I had no idea. Nobody even told me what this Texas Hold'em was. I'd never played it before. So I get them to explain the rules, and I start playing, and I got really lucky, and I won. I won that session. It was fun. So that's what got me going over to Kitchener, Ontario, which is about 20 minutes away from Guelph, to play in all their little charity casinos. But right off the start, if I saw a king in my hand, that was good enough for me. Right. And it didn't matter what the amount of raises were. I would go with king. And so I did that for a while, playing, not for that long, but I did that playing 5-10 limit hold'em. And then I got really lucky when I went over to Kitchener, and I met a couple of friends. I met up with a couple of people, Grant Pittman and Jeremy Balka, a couple of friends of mine, and they knew what they were doing, and they took me under their wing and helped me and talked a little bit of poker with me, and sort of went from there.
Did you think you were really good at that point, though?
No, I was terrible. I knew I sucked. I knew I sucked. But I always thought that I had a little bit of talent. But without Grant and Jeremy, I would have just gone by the wayside and blown a few thousand, and then probably given it up.
After the charity casinos shut down,